Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Okay, this is the Swolemates update.
Number.
I think it's 6.
6?
I think it's 6.
What? No, I think it's 5.
I'm pretty sure. But anyway, so we obviously don't have them all posted yet. It takes a little while to get all of this. So we're not at the date when you see these. Obviously, it's not right away.
This is the week of Christmas.
Yes. Well, this is the weekend before.
This is
Sunday. This is Sunday.
So it's the week of
This
Christmas.
happens. Okay. What he said. So. How's everybody doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Okay, so we posted or asked questions, I guess, or asked you all to ask questions a while back, and we've answered at least one on here. But so today we're going to be talking about supplements a little bit. But I guess just to kind of give a quick update first on what is going on with us. I'm in like, let me see. So we started.
It was 12 days last week. So add 7 days to that. It
was 12 days. Okay, so 19 days. I'm about 3 weeks, close to 3 weeks into prep. Tuesday will be 3 weeks. Stop fiddling with the thing. Okay, so almost 3 weeks, and I this is what happens when you start cutting, I think, and you can tell me what you think, but I never feel like it's going anywhere, like forever. I never feel like I'm making progress, even if I'm making the progress that I should be making, which is really, you don't want to be super fast in your weight loss because I just cried too hard, made myself cry too hard.
I cried too hard. I made myself laugh.
So anyway, yeah, you don't feel like you're making progress. Do you feel like that?
Yeah.
When you start out?
Not so much when I start out.
So like I feel like I'm going nowhere. I mean, even if you. Like, I don't want to lose muscle. That is my ultimate goal, right? You want to lose fat. You don't want to lose muscle. So ideally, you want it to be slower. We talked, I think, last time about, maybe being in a bigger caloric deficit and then having like, diet breaks. So I actually just cut again some calories this weekend. Like Saturday is usually my check-in day, update day, or whatever. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's just sort of, I always feel that way. I always feel like it doesn't go anywhere at the beginning or ever. I don't ever feel like I'm doing anything until it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Mine's that way at the end.
Yeah. Well, mine's that way like the whole time. So anyway, that's kind of where I am right now. I had a deload week this week too. So I feel like that has a little bit to do with it because I'm pretty sure my weight was around the same, or definitely not a pound in a week, maybe right at a pound. But because it was a deload week, I'm sure I didn't have near as much activity as I normally do. I mean, I did like some cardio and some lifting, but it was probably 30 minutes of lifting versus I would normally at least have an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. So I'm probably half of the activity. So I think that makes a difference too. So we'll see what happens this week. So how was your week?
It was all right.
Meaning what?
I don't know. Typical. I smashed my back. It never recuperated. I don't know. It took days for my legs to finally stop being sore from my leg day. It was pretty good, I guess. I gained another 4 pounds in 1 week. So that's 8 pounds in 2 weeks. So that's good. I don't have a problem putting it on.
Nobody has a problem putting it on. It's so easy to put it on. I mean, you can gain Just like boom, you can put on 5 pounds like a couple days, but it take you flipping months to get off 5 pounds.
So I weigh 208 pounds now.
208 pounds.
208 pounds.
I weigh about 155 still. I mean, I think that's what it was about last week too. So, yeah, we're just kind of, here we are. So anyway, let's talk about supplements.
Talk about supplements.
Why don't we just say like, all right, so what supplements do you think? Let's just go like a top 3. Okay. Like
top 3 supplements.
Yeah. Let's say 5. Top 5 supplements. Why do you use them? Why do you think they work? What do they do for you?
Top 5. I
don't know, 3, 5, something like that.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. So her number one is creatine.
That would probably be my number 1. I think it's very useful.
It is very useful. If you're not taking creatine, you should be taking creatine. It'll help you go further in the gym. It allows your muscles to work harder for longer before fatigue sets in. Muscle fatigue, not you being tired fatigue. And
creatine is one of the most highly researched supplements there are, and it's not you can find hundreds and hundreds of studies of creatine usage and the benefits of it, and nothing like there's no big negative drawbacks. It used to be like way back in the day
you had to load it.
When I first heard of creatine, like 20 some years ago, it was like, oh, you have to load, and then you are gonna hold. I mean, it may hold water. There used to be a theory that it caused you to bloat, but I don't think that that's so true anymore. And you don't really have to load either. You can just start taking it, but you want to keep it consistent. I think that's one of the biggest things with supplements is the consistency of any supplement that you're using, because if you're using it, it's not going to do you any good if you just randomly take it. It's kind of like like allergy medicine. Okay, like if you take allergy medicine, it's not like you take it and it immediately works and then you don't need it anymore. It's kind of like a thing that builds in your system, and creatine is the same way. So you don't have to load it, but you have to be regular with taking it. So you don't want to take like a day and then not take 2 or 3 and then take it again. It's not going to do the same thing. You have to do it day after day, like every day. Don't miss it. Like even if you're not lifting, you should still take it, because you want that constant supply like in your bloodstream. Like you want to keep that in there.
Drink a Bang on your off day.
Bang has creatine.
Bang has creatine in it.
Of course, just regular creatine monohydrate, way cheaper just to take a scoop of creatine than it is to buy a Bang. You can just,
even if you get them at Sam's, they're still like $1.
Yeah, you can mix creatine, and you can find like large amounts of creatine monohydrate. Like the bulk bags.
We get it in a bag. It's a hard rhino. You can get it from Amazon. It's not overly expensive.
I mean, it's like a very, like overall supplement speaking, very inexpensive for what it does. It's worth what you're going to spend on it, but don't get all of the fancy, all of the other stuff added into it plus creatine. Just get the creatine monohydrate, just flat out that.
It pretty much dissolves in water. It'll leave a little bit of it.
You're going to have like 3 to 5 grams per day is a general serving, but you don't need something with all this other stuff in it, but you do need to be regular with it. So what would your number 2 be?
My number 2, pre-workout.
And what do you recommend?
Total War by Redcon 1.
Okay, and so like on the opposite end, so like I do drink Bangs rather regularly. So if I drink a Bang, do not drink a Bang and take pre-workout. That's kind of going against each other. So for pre-workout, I typically would have a Bang if I needed caffeine, or maybe coffee. Coffee's a really good pre-workout too, but he likes Total War, and it is a stimulant, but I like Big Noise, which is Redcon One's non-stimulant formula of pre-workout. And what does pre-workout do for you?
It's usually got all the vitamins and minerals you need to grow in the gym. No, it's it's usually got some form of nitric oxide booster. It makes it so that you get an energy source and you get a pump factor for blood flow, and that blood flow helps stretch all of the muscle fibers a little bigger in the gym.
You get the pump.
You get that pump.
Go ahead and say it.
You get the pump.
And Big Noise is the same. I think it's got the nitric oxide stuff in it too, but it just doesn't have caffeine or anything in it.
Yeah, the formulas are different, but I mean, you can stack them both if you want. You can take Big Noise and Total War together, and we should just go ahead and say it. We're not in any way, shape, or form endorsed by Redcon One. It's just I like their pre-workout better than any.
We are not endorsed by them, but we can get you a discount if you're interested in purchasing their products. We have, what do we call them?
The
tier operator discount. So, but those are really good. So pre-workout would be your number 2, right? I mean, I could probably give or take the pre-workout. I honestly, my pre-workout would probably just be caffeine in the form of either a Bang or coffee. Like caffeine to me would do just as much or enough for me versus a pre-workout. Like if I take the stimulant pre-workout, I should only have like half a scoop because I'm not caffeine sensitive, but too much will not help me.
I am caffeine immune.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we were saying that he does have his limit. So, okay, so number 2, pre-workout.
Number 3.
All right, well, so I'll say number 2. Yeah. We'll just let that be.
What's your number 2?
We'll just do this a group
what's
thing.
Your number 2?
So my number 2 would probably be protein powder. Like if I had to just have, if I can only pick a couple of things, like I feel like I would need that on a regular basis. It's hard for me. I don't like cooking a lot, and I don't like a lot of chewing meat. So protein powder is really beneficial for me. And I don't use it a lot. Like I've had clients before who were like, could I just have protein like 3 times a day? Well, no, because it is a supplement. It's not supposed to replace food. So you're not going to get like all of the nutritional stuff that you would get from whole food. So, but like once a day, like if I were to have a scoop, I like Ultimate Muscle Protein. Let's see, I got something back here. This is Beverly. It's Ultimate Muscle Protein. Okay. And that is it's a mix. It's like casein and whey. So casein stays with you a little bit longer.
There's some MCT in it too.
And whey's a little bit faster. So I mean, I just really like it. It mixes super well.
I'm going to tell y'all that stuff right there it doesn't mix as well as like some of the really good, whey proteins. But that stuff right there is the best stuff to bake with. I mean, you can put it in pancakes and it doesn't get all grainy. And I mean, if any of y'all have ever made pancakes with any kind of protein powder, you know what I'm talking about. It tastes like sand is in there. It's not great. That stuff is amazing.
And a lot of times whey protein, it will actually change the texture of a food.
Yeah.
Like it will break things down more. Like if you put a regular whey like in with cooked oatmeal, it will make it liquidy. Like it will break it down, and like that actually makes it thicker.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
That's the
It's great like for pancakes and waffles, muffins, all kinds of stuff. So that would probably be my number 2. And I mean caffeine. So we'll say we're up to 3.
3.
So what's your 3?
My number 3, probably amino acids. I don't take branch chain amino acids. I take a unflavored essential amino acids powder in my intra workout shake. So I take
unflavored kind.
Yeah, it's just unflavored essential amino acids.
See, I like to have the flavor because I will mix that in my shaker cup in the gym.
We both take mass aminos from Beverly. So I take 4 of those twice a day, 3 times a day, but it's at breakfast and at bedtime.
You're actually supposed to take even more than that. We're lucky to remember these things. Yeah. Again, it's about consistency. So
I consistently take them at breakfast and at bedtime.
If you consistently take even less though than you're supposed to, being consistent is really important, right? So, there was a time I would take 4 3 times a day. So I was actually like, even recommended on the label is like 1 tablet per 10 pounds of body weight. So at that point, when I was prepping, even I was getting close to my 1 per 10 pounds of body weight, but it's like at some point it's just like you get tired of taking tablets, so again, I think the main thing there is being consistent with the number that you take. So okay, so what about 4?
Number 4, stuff that I'm going to take every day that I just absolutely have to. I guess the 4th one would be mass gainer. And
that's a protein powder.
It's protein and it's some form of carb. Most of them are maltodextrin, which is,
so we could say really like intra workout.
That's for my intra workout. So I put my essential aminos scoop in that. I usually make it with Kroger Carb Master chocolate milk, which has like 11 grams of protein in it too. And it's like 125 grams of the mass gainer. That gives me total almost 100 carbs that I get about halfway through. Usually by the time I'm done with my main lifts, before I start moving into the accessories for that day, that's when I drink it.
I will typically, if I take like, I can make it, my workouts are not as long as his. So I typically would be more like at the end of my workout. And I would usually take like use a Mass Maker Ultra, but it's probably got like half the protein as it does carbs. But like when I'm cutting, my carbs are going to be lower anyway. So I will just I will sometimes just mix that and together to have like.
Mass Maker's got a lot more fat in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I don't use like a standard serving. I might use like a third of a serving of Mass Maker Ultra plus like just for extra protein, because sometimes like at the end of a workout, like you really need something. Now he needs it more because like the end of his big stuff would probably be about the length of my whole workout. So,
and y'all, if you get a Mass Maker, you don't have to like or Mass Gainer. You can tailor it to your needs. You don't have to have.
Yeah, know what you need. Like
the serving size of most of the ones that I get like a big 12-pound bag, and most of the time the serving size is like 3 heaping scoops, is what it says, and it's usually like, that equates to like 300 and something grams of product.
Well, see, mine's like 90. Mine's like 96 grams, but I typically might take like 30 to 40.
Yeah, and I usually
know like what you need.
125.
Don't just take like the whole thing because it says that's a serving. You probably don't need that much.
You can do that with everything. I know we've discussed that a bajillion times. You can tailor. Don't look at the servings. You can tailor stuff to what you need.
That's why we measure.
Like any of these supplements we're talking about. like amino pills. Serving sizes one pill per 10 pounds of body weight, you know, you're sitting there and you figure out the math, and you know, you're taking like 8 or 9 of them at a time. You know, you don't feel like you have to do that, especially if you're getting enough protein, like whole protein per day.
I think consistency is the key.
Yes.
Having things spread, the main, like you don't want to forget stuff. You don't want to be like a couple days on and then 2 or 3 days off, and then like come back on, come back off. Like you've got to, like when you're taking this stuff, you really need to do it consistently. I think for at least like a week for it to like get into your system and start to build, and then stay level with it.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was number 4.
That was 4.
What's
So
your 5?
Let me think, because we're strictly supplements. Honestly, like I would say number 5, and this is not even bodybuilding related, but I'm gonna say my number 5 is like a good multivitamin, a fish oil, or like an essential like omega like 369 is what I like. So a vitamin, omega 369, and a vitamin D supplement. That would be my number 5.
Yeah, I take an immune support thing. It's got zinc, which you need for other reasons too. It does all kinds of stuff.
But it has zinc,
D, C. It has some other stuff in it, but it's like 3 pills a day, or like it won't. Yeah, it's 3 pills is what the serving size is on that one. But you know, also like just take a really good multivitamin.
So, you know, supplements and vitamins are sort of the same thing, right? Like they're meant to fill in the gaps from what you're not getting nutritionally. And you should not take those
as a substitute.
You're not taking those as like, this is it. Just like I tell my kids, you take the vitamins for the days that like, so one day you might have a lot more of one type of food, and you're not getting a certain vitamin, enough of it. So maybe you're not getting enough vitamin A that day. The vitamin is going to fill in that gap, but maybe the next day you're not getting enough vitamin C. So you should have a really good variety in your food. And if you have a good variety in your food, then your multivitamin is just meant to fill in the little spaces that maybe it's not enough of, but it's not supposed to take the place of food. It's not supposed to be, well, I took a multivitamin so I can eat all junk. No, it's meant to fill in the gaps.
No Flintstone kids.
So those I think would be the top ones.
I think those, that's a pretty good top of the supplements. We take way more than that. We have a buffet of pills.
So it's easy to forget some things.
I don't know if y'all watch Rick and Morty, but I think it's at the beginning of season 3 when the Galactic Federation pays everybody in pills. That's pretty much, that's what it looks like in the morning when everybody is eating their pills.
Just remember, it's a supplement.
It is a supplement,
not a replacement. And it's not meant to do like miraculous things. I think the thing is that it's consistency over time to help with your immunity, to help with
creatine is pretty miraculous.
Creatine like is definitely a good one.
You should be getting, people ask me how much, like, well, I must drink a lot of protein shakes. I don't drink any protein shakes.
Just your intro.
But that's more just for the carbs. I mean, it has
protein. But it does have protein. But, so you do have a shake.
You know, I don't drink, I get most of my protein through, you know, food.
Yeah. So I may have like
again,
one per day.
It's a supplement.
It is a supplement. I just simply cannot. I just don't like eating
protein shakes or mass gainer.
Liquid egg whites are amazing.
That, they're going to give you any kind of, you know, leg up on the competition. If you're just starting out on this and you think you need to go out and get all the protein powders and mass gainers and it's going to do something amazing to you in a month, you're dead wrong.
Creatine is definitely top, but being consistent is the main thing, and being consistent with your nutrition.
Takeaway lesson that you're going to get from any of our
remember that you're not going to make, it takes a long time to see results. And if you're not consistent, you're really just slowing that down. You're stopping what could get you to where you want to be. Just like when people have gaps in their nutrition, the way you eat, you go off for a while and then you think you need to tighten it back up. You go off a while, you tighten it back up. So really you're in the same place. You were here, you got to here, you went back, you started, went back, you started. So you're just, when you could be up here if you were just consistent.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. So anyway, if you have questions, if you have comments, definitely drop those below and we will discuss this on a future episode update. And we will always bring you kind of progress updates as we go throughout these as well. And we appreciate you watching, and please share and subscribe if you have not.
And Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Yes. Whatever you are. Happy everything. And we'll talk to you later.